why it even came about was because there was a study done after World War I that came back that said the black brain was smaller than the white brain. We were a cowardly subspecies, completely overlooking the fact that in every war the United States has ever had, there's been a black man at the forefront of it that has usually died first. You know, the Harlem Globetrotters, I mean, there are just so many instances, but it didn't make any difference. We were a cowardly subspecies, we were gonna run away at the first sign of a fight. We would not be able to take orders, we couldn't handle complex machinery, just everything you could think of. And the whole purpose of that was because the Army and the military was very segregated, and it carried on the old Southern Jim Crow laws, basically, as to black man was meant to be a servant. And it carried over into the military. So when World War II came around, and we entered into the war before Pearl Harbor, and the United States was losing badly. And so the black press and the NAACP, along with the help of Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt, went to the War Department and said that there's an entire generation of young men and women, African-American men and women, that want to serve their country. They don't want to do it digging trenches, because that was what their jobs were delegated to, was digging trenches for the latrines, or being the servants or valets to the generals, or working in the kitchens, you know, the same subservient jobs they'd always had before. And they said that wasn't working. So they said, okay, we will set up a program, reluctantly. But the program had a lot of caveats to it. When the first thing they did was they said that you have to have a 4-year college degree in order to get into the program. Not realizing that after the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln set aside land grants of land for higher education for the slaves, the freed slaves, and children and their grandchildren. These land grant institutes are now known as historical black colleges and universities. So when they put out the call that you had to have a 4-year college degree, they got thousands of young men who showed up, and they kind of went, okay, that's not working. All right, so the next thing they said was, okay, you have to have a pilot's license. Well, our dad, as Bob mentioned, our dad, that's my sister back there, which is why I keep saying our. I'm one of 4 children, but our dad went to college at the age of 15. He graduated at 18 with a 4-year mechanical engineering degree. His mother told him, you can't come home, because there was absolutely nothing for him to do with his degree except to be the busboy at the White Country Club or work in the coal mines, and she just wasn't having it. So she said, no, you stay in school, you stay an extra year. He's 18, he wants to set the world on fire. He's like, I gotta see what I'm gonna do first, and I don't know if I'm gonna stay another year, till the freshman class came in, and that included this young lady with long hair and long legs going around the corner of the library, and he went, maybe I'll hang out for a year and see what belongs to that. So that was our future mother. And yes, he did stay that year. Well, it just so happened that also happened to be the year that the civilian pilot training program was put into 6 black colleges across the nation. So when they said, you also have to have a pilot's license, he said, okay, how about this one? Should have had this pegged earlier, but you know, I didn't, because I don't do things like that. There we go. This is his actual pilot license that he got from West Virginia State College, now University, and it's dated June 14th, 1940. Okay. What happened was when he got there and found out the civilian pilot training program was coming in, he decided he'd always wanted to be a pilot, and so he decided to take the course. We've had people ask us, oh, did he know he was making history? And we're like, no, he was trying to impress our mother, which he was, and she was, because she considered him an obnoxious, big-headed boy. So anyway, before I get into that anymore, there were 16,000 men, women, white and black, that made up the Tuskegee Airmen. They were trained in 3 different areas across the United States. The support staff and ground crew and flight crew were all trained at Rantoul, Illinois, Chanute Air Force Base. The bombers were trained at Gotman Field, Kentucky, and the pilots were trained at Tuskegee Airfield in Tuskegee, Alabama. There's 16,000 altogether, and everyone, no matter what their job was, whether they were civilians, military, white, black, it made no difference. You could be the guy who kept the grounds clean by sweeping up. It made no difference. If you were part of that program in those 3 different areas, you were considered an original Tuskegee Airman. There were female Tuskegee Airmen. They also were female Tuskegee Airmen pilots, but they didn't obviously go overseas and they didn't fight. And you never hear about them, but we just want to make sure that the women are not left out. They were there with the nurses and secretaries and stuff, but they were also the parachute riggers, they were mechanics, and they were pilots. 992 of the young men applied for pilot training at Tuskegee, Alabama. Out of that 352 went overseas. That 352 are known as the Red Tails. What we have right now is a short video that's going to be shown. It was an interview with 5 of the original Tuskegee Airmen, including our dad here at McClellan. Oh, I'm in San Jose, aren't I? In Sacramento at McClellan. And this is our personal video because the TV station gave it to our mom after our dad passed away the following year. So you can't see this on YouTube or anywhere else. So enjoy.